All right, hello everybody. Welcome once again to the New Now and Autodidactic. We haven't been together in a little while. It's been a couple of months since we've done our recording. I think we've both been off in the land of discovering our true selves, our true hearts, finding what our love, what our desires, what our destiny is asking for of us. And I think I've come full circle into understanding, that love is really what everyone's after. And what does that mean? That is an interesting question. Hey, Campbell.
How you going? That is an interesting question. And yeah, it's been a while, been a few months. I'm in the USA. I've been here for, I don't even know, 3 weeks, 2 weeks before that. So I've been traveling around, about to leave for Europe. But yeah, no, I've been sort of doing a bit of focus on that myself and noticing that it's probably all my fault. It's probably me that
Mhm.
has to work on me about with this whole, love thing and communication and relationships. So yeah, let's talk about that.
So relationships and love, I found everyone wants to be in love. Everyone wants to have a good, loving relationship. Like all the music and all the romantic movies, everything's about love. But if I can talk about myself, because that's all I really know intimately, is as I was raised and as I saw my life and what I was taught from my parents and friends at the time in movies was all very much related to something that wasn't really love. Right. It was
Mm.
related to maybe, your sexual desires. It was related to the passions that you maybe had for wanting to procreate or to create or to make children if you wanted at the time. And as I've matured in my life and gotten older and seen, what's possible and the potential for love, I have seen it's much, much bigger than, it's great if you want to make children. Don't get me wrong. Most people have, have some one way or the other, but the loving aspect of what life is really comes into its own when you start to understand that perhaps love is all there really is in the world, right? Love is all that exists. What is light? What is a plant growing? What is food? What is your relationship? What is your life once you're born? And I would say, what do people say? I love life. I love
Mm.
you. I love doing this. I love doing that. And I would say love is something when you begin to explore it is really the reason for being alive.
Yeah, and it's probably, the lack of love is probably, or the misinterpretation of it is probably the cause for most of our issues as well. They did back when they had orphanages. I remember there was an orphanage and it had a lot of the babies were dying. And so they were looking into it and they found out that basically they just weren't being touched enough. They weren't being picked up. They weren't being loved, right? And they literally would die from lack of love. So it's a fairly important thing. And, especially in this, society we find ourselves in. I mean, look at how they portray, if you can call it love, but it's all external, how they look, what they dress like, how much money they've got. If you watch any of the crazy videos on YouTube, when they talk to some of these younger ladies, it's all about the money and the height. You got to be 6 foot and you got to have, a sports car and all this stuff. But that's got nothing to do with the person at all. It's got to do with what do you want to look like when you walk down the street or what do you want to tell your friends. But I think we know that all of those relationships they don't go far, right?
Well, if you walk down the street, like I've noticed, and you see people are wanting something for you, from you, or loving you, it's not the same thing. As Campbell just said, it's like if you want someone to be taller because you think you're going to have tall children, or you want someone to have a sports car, or you want someone to have money, or you want someone to have a good job, and you're wanting something from them for yourself because you don't think you have it. Maybe you need the money, or you need the sports car, or you need the status, or you need someone to tell you you're beautiful or you're handsome. And so generally, if you look at it honestly, you're telling yourself you don't have these things, right? They're
Yeah,
missing from your life. And
yeah,
and that's not love wanting something from someone. That's need.
yeah, yeah. That's this whole thing of what is a relationship, and most people use it as two, broken people coming together, hoping the other person has the parts that they're missing. Right, wanting to make one whole person out of a couple, where you need two whole people that are already whole to be able to have a proper relationship.
Yeah. If you can't give what you don't have. I mean, that's the other thing. You don't have $5 in your hand. You can't give someone $5. People understand that, right? If you don't have a turkey finished in the oven, you can't offer someone to come over for a turkey dinner. And
Mm,
I think a lot of people are like that. They go, I want love, but I don't have I want to have a turkey dinner. I want to share a turkey dinner, but I don't have a turkey dinner, right? As the way, I want to share $20, but I don't have $20. So I'm hoping someone's going to come and give it to me. And that's a lack. Right away, you're saying something like that. So in order to have love, you have to share love, right? Or in order to share love, you have to have love. And even if you're missing something, like if you find someone that you have a good relationship with, I can talk about my relationship with Campbell, right? We've both been missing certain bits of maybe our business, maybe our life, maybe our friendship, and we've grown in relationship, even from a distance in a short time together, through the interactions we've had with the videos we've done, with everything else we've done, and it's just come out of a place of wanting to help. I can only talk about myself, right? Like I don't have a lot of people I really like and I trust and I feel good with, right? And so when I come across someone like that, you just want to help, you just want to share. You're not really asking for anything. You're just saying, well, how can I help this person? How can I do this? I'm doing it with my wife. I'm doing it with some friends I have, and that's really what you seek for in love. I would find if you're missing something, you find it. Like I want to find contentment in my heart. I want to find happiness in my day to day. I want to find health in my choices in life. And then you can go and then you can share it with the people you like or you love. And then they can share something similar with you. And to me, that's really what love is. It's really an exploration of not what's missing, but maybe it's a bit of enhancing what you feel you're fallow in with the people that want to, enhance that in themselves too, without having to take, but everyone's kind of putting something in the middle. And then you get to share and see where you go and grow in love from there.
Mm. Yeah, well, yeah, yeah. Well, man, you attract what you are, right? So if you want love, you've got to find that in yourself, I think, first of all, and be, this is, it's a lot of people also settle, don't they? They're like, and that's probably because they're feeling like I don't have this, I'm not good enough, and so they're like, well, this person seems to like me, I'll just go with that, right? So, people aren't defining what they want, and so they're not getting what they want is another thing. Like,
Wow.
what is it? It's like with everything in life, it's like if you ask someone, what do you want? I just I want to be in love. I want a partner. It's like, okay, who is that partner? They're like, 6 foot tall, 200 grand a year. That they don't know, right? That they're not really sure what they're looking for. So, if you're out in the forest looking for a bunny, but you don't know what a bunny is, it's going to be hard to find it, right?
Yeah, and it really comes back to, I would say, in some ways, studying history, studying potential, your potential. Like if you don't know where you've come from, which is why I think I've been attracted to history, you don't know where you're going. Like if you don't know your roots and your ancestry, you can't really know what you're going to share with someone when you're ungrounded and floating and fluttering. And to see, the potential of the good choices you've made, the potential of the bad choices you've made, the truth or lack in thereof of the history you've been shared with. Cambell and I've done hundreds of videos on that, and the truth or lack in thereof of what's healthy for you, whether it's energy or physical or emotional. Without an understanding of that, you really come into a relationship and you share that anyways, right? Like if you don't know your history or you don't know what love is or you don't know who you are, then you end up sharing like there's a lack of communication. Let's put it that way. And I can only talk again from experience. And I've been there where you think you're being loving, but you're being needy, let's say,
Yeah.
or you think you're being generous, but you're being greedy, right? You think you're sharing love, but you're sharing need for sexual encounters or for loneliness, as Campbell said. Like, look, being lonely. How many people have gone into relationships? I'll put my hand up just because they're lonely. Like Campbell
Mm.
said, well, she said yes, and there's no one else around. And I'm tired of spending my nights alone, so I'll just say that's okay. And then maybe 6 months, 9 months, a year later, you find out it's not okay.
Yeah.
Uh, you know,
Yeah. Well, people expect that those people are going to fix them or fill their needs. And when they don't, then it all starts to disintegrate pretty quickly, doesn't it? You end up with these two people who hate each other. "Ah, you were so nice when we met, and now you haven't fixed me."
and you've made children, let's say, so you complicate things, or you're living together in a house, so you've complicated things, or you've both bought a car together and you've complicated things, and that's fine. But it's in the complication, the uncomplication to simplify what love could be is the situation you've created, let's say, to make yourself better moving forward from there. I mean, everything I imagined a partner to be, my wife's a little taller than me. She wanted someone a little taller than her. we laugh about it all the time now. I said, well, that's great. You can reach the things higher in the kitchen than I can. So it's, so it's amazing. I wanted, everyone, man wants maybe a shorter woman, as you say, and every woman wants a taller man. And it's just this, prince and princess imagination you get. And I think for me in my life, I was offered my soulmate, if you like, or my partner that was exactly not like that, simply because it allowed me to see what love really is. Like, someone that helps you grow, someone that tells you when you're being an asshole, someone that shares with you how to be a better loving person, right? Someone that's honest with you and is there anyways through the challenges. And then you start to find, like, no one's pretty or handsome in 22 forever. Like, everyone gets older. Generally, those initial looks change or mature. But if you're loving, you stay attractive, right? If you're happy, you stay uh, virile, and you stay fertile, let's say. But if you've done it for nefarious, ugly reasons that we've all seen, the 22-year-old man turn into a horrible, unattractive 55-year-old man, and same with the woman, the beautiful skinny woman turn into the something else. And I would say that their true color and their true nature is showing because maybe they're just not being loving to themselves and the world and their partner. And it's like I said, it's greed and need and appetite, and that's just, a horrible thing to do with someone you really want to love, is to devour their happiness, let's say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think we're probably all guilty of that to some degree, but we're not taught any of this stuff either. That's
Mm.
not, that's not in school. There's no education. There's no wise men or women or men's or women's groups anymore that they used to have. So, how do you learn this stuff, right? Most people just sort of plod along, not knowing what they're doing, falling in and out of relationships, and a lot of people get to the point where they're like, oh, this doesn't work. I'll just be celibate and single for the rest of my life. Everyone sucks. But clearly everyone doesn't. It's just you're meeting the wrong people.
I mean, I've walked around, Cambell and I have talked about this before, feeling horrible and everyone's growling at me. Well, I'll walk around feeling loving, and I'll have loving interactions and loving relationships. And I would say the challenge this day is, if you get to the modern way of looking at things, if everyone's walking around looking at their cell phones and looking at something from an inanimate, digital or binary object, it can't give you love. Like, a cell phone is just a machine, right? A computer is just a machine.
Yeah.
An app is just an algorithm, right? Like, all of these things are really, they're not alive. They look like they're alive, they can act like they're alive, they can beep, and you could get a dopamine hit from getting 200 emails from people that think you're sexy or handsome and want to take you out for cocktails. But it ends there, because when you meet the person behind the algorithm, and they haven't learned how to be in a human relationship, how to be loving, they haven't been hugged enough, like you said, and they haven't been shared with enough, they haven't really realized that beyond the physical attraction, love helps everything grow,
Mm.
right? If you love your plants, I love plants, they grow better. If you love your pets, they probably react better to you. If you love, like, and I mean really love, not, Cambell and I have talked about this before as well, not tell your kids what to do or tell your partner
Yeah.
how to be, but you allow them to grow into whomever or whatever they feel like growing into. Then the love that's going to come back is going to be 1,000 times bigger than thinking you know better for someone, because you really can't.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. And I mean, look what it's been distilled down to, right? Like, most people looking for love today go onto Tinder and other apps, right? And it's literally a face shot of, no, don't like that. Swipe whichever way it is, left or right, I don't know. And people just sit there swiping through all these people. No, no, they don't look right. They don't look right. So it's been turned even more into this physical thing. And then even if you do, find something out, you go and read their bio, and then they've got to hit all this criteria and stuff. But people very rarely turn that around, right? And go, okay, what am I offering? Why
Yeah.
would someone swipe on me, right? Like, what am I bringing to the table? It's always the other person has to, and that makes it easy, because when they don't, then it's not your fault, right? You can blame them. It's always why didn't they do this? So we're definitely finding ourselves in an interesting time as far as relationships and love. And we've all heard the stats, people are breaking up more, they're not getting together more, they're staying single longer, or having less children. Families are, the family unit is apparently, starting to crumble and all this kind of stuff. But No, it doesn't have to be that way. And I hear you had a chat with Julia Canman on a similar topic to this.
Yeah, we were wondering, she's a remote viewer, and she does a lot of interesting, energetic, astrological studies as well for people. And really what it came down to, and I've seen even for myself, is like, why have I been doing almost everything I've done in life? Like, why did I get a job when I was younger? Why did I want to make money? Why did I want to wear fancy clothes? Why did I go to the gym? Why did I decide to start drinking? Why did I decide to stop drinking? Why did I decide to lose weight or gain whatever? And it was all for love, right? I have to say for myself, it was all because I wanted to love and be loved. I wanted to be in a good relationship. I wanted to see what it was like to have that support as a man. You like a woman to support you, and as a woman, maybe you like a man to be a little firmer with you. Pardon my rudeness. Even though things have gotten mushy and mishmashed in this day and age, which I think has led to all of the challenges Campbell just mentioned,
Yeah, pushing the
is it
patriarchy.
yeah, there's no matriarch, there's no patriarch. I think if you're strong in yourself and you're strong in who you are and you're honest with what your heart is and your soul and your guts are telling you, then you're able to share a beautiful way to be alive. And that's kind of what I talk with Julia, since you mentioned that, and it's something that everyone's looking for, right? It's something that everyone wants that they don't have. And what really struck me and has hit me right now is even a few days ago when I've had my challenges with Chie, my wife, and she even said, why I chose you? Because I think women do choose the men in the end. And I go, no, why? She goes, because I had a feeling, my guts told me you would let me be who I am. You would just, you wouldn't put, this stamp on me. You wouldn't expect this. You would just allow me to be the person that I am, and then we could grow together. And it floored me. And I go, well, isn't that the most beautiful thing you can do for someone? Campbell
Mm.
mentioned it with children. I don't have any. Let them be who they are. And if you don't like who they are, that's fine. Then don't try and change them. But move along.
Mm.
Happily and
But, yeah,
healthfully.
but you can still love people, even if you don't like them, right? Like, I think that's another thing that we get mixed up is,
Mm,
you don't have to, and I'm talking, more platonic love, not relationships, but, with children, yeah, some of them do different things. They normally come around in the end, but, let them make their mistakes, let them live their lives, let them grow, right? And be who they are. And because, all our advice on why people should change and they should do this. I mean, that's just our perspective of what we would do. It's got nothing to do with the other person at all, really. It's just
really.
trying to imprint our values on them.
Yeah, my father said that. He's 84 now. He said that to me the other day. He goes, you're crazy. Can't stand any of your. I don't even understand you, but I love you.
Mm.
So like, because I've made a nice relationship with my father after being angry for so many years over the last few years. And it's the same thing. I don't respect a lot of the choices he's made, whether he's been, to a medical doctor, we'll say, or listens to too much Trump on TV or whatever he's doing, right? Or hasn't had the best health or dietary choices. But I love him. He's my father. And we've come to a place where, as Campbell said, we don't really like the choices the other person has made. Maybe you don't, but you can respect everyone's doing perhaps the best that they can, and really, yeah, even if they've made like I've made so many stupid choices, I could be at the top of that hill as
Oh,
far as far
yeah.
as yeah, thousands and thousands and thousands of dumb choices. Like I'm ashamed of so many of them, at the end of the day, but that's fine. My shame has allowed me to see I don't want to play that game anymore. I don't want to be mean, or I don't want to be selfish, or I don't want to be living in an illusion of what I think I am when I'm not really there, any of these things. And it's just been my simple honesty, which is the hardest thing almost to come to. That's the funny thing, isn't it, Campbell? That the simplest thing is if you're honest and you trust and you're ready to die. I think you have to be ready to die for your choices, and because a lot of people will not give up a job or a relationship or something because they're afraid it will lead to their unhappy death or something like that. Then you can't be tricked, right? The government can't trick you, the medical industry can't trick you. It's usually, being afraid of, dying alone, let's say, which is what is used against you in this
Mm.
life almost completely from the time, you hit puberty when you're 14 or whatever to to the last breath you take.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, people don't want, and I think people are meant to be together. I don't think people are meant to be alone. We seem to be social creatures, right? And so I think that, and I believe in monogamy. I don't think the answer is to have, 10 partners on the side just in case one doesn't work out or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, people don't want to be alone, definitely don't want to die alone. And then, people don't trust themselves, so that people have problems, of course, myself included, like opening up, as a Western man, we're not taught that. We're not even supposed to cry, let alone, show our emotions. And then, for the biggest relationship, we have to be totally open, right? And that's to be totally vulnerable as well. And you have to trust other people. So there's a lot of stuff in there that pops up, shall we say, for most people, because they haven't really sorted out who they are, what love means for them, who they're after, like what they can
Mm.
in return, all these sort of things. It's just oh well, she looks hot. Wow, I'll really try and get her into bed or something. So it's an interesting topic that's probably not talked about enough. Like I said, there's a lot of videos going around, and they're what the end result of them really is degrading women. Really, it's just showing, oh, women are stupid, women want this, look at, they're out there in the clubs and sleeping around, rah 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 rah, which isn't really helping the situation, shall we say? Just putting, because that just gets sort of the men to go, oh well, look, see, none of them are worth it. Why would I even spend my time? Look at these women. But that's a very small percentage. So if you're watching those videos and believing them, just understand that that's views, right? Like they only put the controversial stuff up that people will click on. But I do think that the whole family thing, and if we want to say gender, it's definitely being pushed to get people to believe that it's hard, that people aren't worth it, that you'll get hurt, you'll lose this, so you'll lose your house, you'll lose half of what you got, all this kind of stuff. When really, if you find the right person, I don't think any of that is an issue.
I like that Campbell brought that up because, I found myself watching a few of those, oh, look, women are being like this, or women are being like
Mm.
that, or women are all like, but how are you being a man? Right? Instead of complaining that they're not being loving enough or caring enough, or they're just after whatever they're after, like, why are you watching those videos? Maybe, why are you getting pissed off at that? Why is that something that you want to point a finger and go, I don't need them, I'll just be, alone, or like, but if you're not, maybe you do want to be alone, that's fine, but maybe you're being, you're lying to yourself, and really you're just reacting to the
Mm.
actions of the outside world. And maybe what you're seeing is you have to man up. If you want someone to woman up, let's say, you got to put your big boy pants on. And if you don't like the system, you got to change it. If you don't like what's going on around you, you got to alter it, right? If you need to have like a better life or a better job or a better political system, or no political system, or whatever, or belief system or religious system or energetic system, if that is something you don't like, what are you doing about it? Right? Like Campbell said, if you sit and complain and point a finger and you're blaming, well, nothing's happening, nothing's changing, right? You're miserable and you're blaming ladies, and they're miserable and they're blaming men. And then let's just say the monsters that be are winning the game by keeping everyone pissed off at each other, when really, secretly, that's not what people want,
Mm.
I
And
would
it's not
say.
reality either.
No.
Let's be true. It's all YouTube, and that we know they promote certain themes and videos up and everything, and really, if you are getting into them and you're like, oh, see, women aren't worth it. Well, it's just you wanting people to agree with you that
Yeah.
a point of view that all women suck because you haven't found one that is right for you yet. So I
There you
shouldn't
go.
have
I mean,
women suck, should I? That was the wrong
well, no,
word.
but it's true. I mean, and if the ladies, like I see 80% of them here are lost looking at their cell phones, that's their business, right? So I don't like it, but that's what they've decided to do, and that's up to them, and they're going to get the kind of reactions in life that they're asking for that way. And if you keep complaining, then that's what you're going to get, a life full of complaints. But if you change what you want to do, if you're in a different way, you leave the that world behind, you put down the computer or your cell phone or the social media. I spend much less time on the computer now than I used to. I will spend a few days away. I've made less videos if anyone's on my channel over the last few weeks, because I've decided I don't want to just do videos for views or any of that nature anymore. Like, I want to do what feels good to me. I want to offer some substance to my reality, and I want to share that with other people. And my life has become way, like, my monetary situation has gotten better. My health has gotten better. My sleep has gotten better. My stress levels have gone almost away completely. My relationship with my wife has gotten better. My relationship with my friends have gotten better. And it's all because I've decided that I'm going to stop complaining. I'm going to realize it's all my fault. I'm going
It's
to take a yeah.
I was going to say it's a big part of it. I just did 2 weeks with the NARA reset retreat where there was no social media,
Mm,
and it's interesting, right? Your brain starts working again, and
mm,
you get bored, and you got to find things to do, and you start reading and writing and doing all these other things.
mm,
And then when you go back to it, you realize that most of it's crap anyway, right? Like it's just a time waster. Like you're just
totally.
filling in time. If you're not getting something from that, then what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, you can see all the historical perspectives you want. You can see all the medical perspectives you want. You can see all the relationship perspectives you want, but it's not changing anything, right? It's just, you're playing this endless loop of watching things come back at you, and it's making you feel good or bad or indifferent. And the bottom line is, if you're honest with yourself, it's like, I really am doing this just to be in a relationship. I really am doing this just to be in community. I really am doing this just to be healthy. I mean, fill in your own reasons for why it is you're doing what you're doing. You need huge need with, even though there is no need, but you need to be honest with yourself if you want an honest result or an honest answer. And then you need to understand that, this is a tool at best, right? This is, could be a tool for making money. It could be a tool for maybe saying hello, meeting people. Could be a tool for, a new way is
Mm.
using a telephone or making an invitation to meet later on. But the real work, the real relationships, the real pleasures and honesty and successes and failures are going to come in face to face, interactive, real energetic interactions.
And as far
That's
as relationships, I mean,
yeah.
we all know it's and social media, it's easy, people aren't themselves. So they'll either write horrible things and be really rude that they wouldn't be face to face, or they put on a big act, I'm this and everything's so wonderful, and then their life's falling apart. So it's not real. It's not real. It's just adding to the problem. Like the real thing, with all the events we've done, most people, the biggest thing they say is it's just being around people,
Yep.
connecting, having that one-on-one connection, talking with people on the same wavelength, all this kind of stuff. And that's not, I mean, obviously lives are different, when you can chat to people live and, the community part. And I think that's one of the good aspects of social media is it can bring people together. But then obviously if that's what all you're relying on, then you're never getting
Mm.
out and actually meeting people, which
Nope.
is, so that's why, we've put a bit of a focus on trying to get people physically together, because I think that's the way forward. The way forward isn't clicking for dopamine hits, that's for sure.
There's so many people. If people watch some of the lives I did with Campbell or some of the lives I did by myself, where I invite people to stop complaining and come join, and nobody would. And I don't think anybody. There's
Yeah,
not one
yeah.
person. I think, there's not one person that I said, "Here's my email. Here's my this. Let me know." No, I was on another channel, like a born again channel, let's say, and I invited someone, anybody that didn't like my opinion, to come join me. And one fellow sent a long email on how he was going to, bring me to Muhammad or Jesus or religions or this and the books, and he wanted to teach me all. Sounded very polite in the email. And then I just asked him 3 questions. I asked him what his original source of his information was, what was the original language, how many different translations have there been from that language to the next language? Because I've seen language change in my lifetime, let alone over thousands of years, let alone from one language to another language, let alone through interpreters. And I'm going like, how do you even know that, this means that means that means that and meant that 2000 years ago? And I said, then we can have a conversation. I just want to talk about the original source material, how you got there, and, what language you spoke, and, where you got your information. And then he never talked to me again.
No.
It was a very polite email, right? I said, okay, I understand you want to share all this information with me. Let's look at the source. Let's look at where it came from. And the reason I'm mentioning that is I think you have to do that for yourself too. You have to look at your own source. You have to look at your definitions of love. You have to look at your definitions of want and happiness and health. This is something people don't even bother to examine, which is the weirdest thing because it's them. Right? Like what, like Campbell said it really at the beginning. What do you mean by love? What do you mean by relationship? What do you mean by abundance? What do you mean by community? What do you mean by family? What do you mean by
Mm.
all of these things? My wife asked me yesterday if I believe in luck or unluckiness in life. And I go, well, that depends. What do you mean by luck? You know, and she couldn't even, we sat there and we had to stop. You go, you can't even tell someone what luck means.
Mm.
Right. Right.
It's,
Because what's luck? Yeah.
I was just going to say, you hear it so often, raise your frequency, be the light. It's like you ask it, okay, what does that mean? Be the light. And they're like, be the light. It's like, what does it mean? And that's the thing. People love to throw around these catchphrases and
Yeah.
things that they've heard and just repeat and repeat. But where's it coming from? Yeah, what's the source information? What does it mean? Like, what are you actually saying? What are you putting out there in the world? Because most of us don't really know. Half the stuff that comes out of us, and I believe that words are frequencies, and frequencies affect things. So words are spells. So maybe we need to start to define who we are and speak who we are. To let other people know who we are, because this is the other thing. If we're talking about love, then how's your potential partner going to even know that you're the one if you're not even speaking as your true self, or if you don't know what you're saying and what you're talking about? They're like, this guy doesn't know what luck does, what luck is.
You know, the best day of my life, maybe, we're coming to an end, was one of the best days was almost not so long ago when I found out 300 ways I was wrong. Literally all the ways I was mean or duplicitous or cheap or angry. And they were all related to love and friendship, like almost every one of them, whether it was, my siblings or my parents or past relationships I've had, friends, jobs. So there were all ways that I told myself at the time, years ago, that I was being loving, I was being kind, that I was being honest, and I realized, just recently that I was wrong in all of those ways because and only wrong in the way that I saw that it wasn't loving. That's it, right? Not some big, oh my goodness, you're a bad person or this. It's just like, oh my goodness, that wasn't loving. And I thought I was being loving. And so I
Hmm.
had to, and it blew me away, right? As I said, I had to stop talking to someone for a few days. And since then, though, my life has gone literally 180, over the last few months to become 1,000 times more loving and 1,000 times more abundant and 1,000 times, more of the other great things that everybody wants: health, happiness, love, community, sharing, family, abundance, etc., 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 with no stress. But I first had to understand, Cambell and I have said this before, and it's not because we're mean, but if you see how you've been wrong, your energy will straighten itself out. And wrong by you thinking you're wrong, no one else.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
I was,
exactly.
I was wrong by my own estimation of what I was trying to do at the time.
Hmm.
That's what people figure. It's not someone telling you you're wrong. It's you telling yourself, what I was doing was not what I thought I was doing, let's say,
Yeah,
like you said, your definition. And
yeah. Do your words match? Match your actions. And this is the thing. It's not that it's wrong. It's just that it's something that you want to fix or do better, right? So, and you can't fix anything that you don't know is a problem. But people do tend to get triggered when we say things like it's all your fault and what have you done wrong. But that is how you fix things, right? You can say, okay, I was like that, and then you know what to change and how to change it. So it's a good idea, right? Write down how you're wrong, how you've been wrong. Because I mean, the truth is, if you're somewhere you don't want to be, then you've been wrong. And I'm pretty sure that everyone is not exactly where they want to be, right? We've all
yeah,
been wrong, man. And the more wrong you are, then the more scope you have to grow. It's not a bad thing. It's only bad if you keep doing it.
I mean, because that's all anyone has. With a guarantee, all you have is yourself. No one can give you that. No one can take it away. You were born with it. You'll leave with it. That's all you got. And it's the gift everyone gets when they're born. Everyone gets born with a gift of themselves. And that's all you get to work with in this life, in my opinion. So the more you know yourself and understand yourself and clean yourself and you're honest with yourself, the better life you can make for yourself. And, then why else are you here?
Yeah, exactly right. What else is there but love in the end? That's all we really want. So love. And I'll leave the link below to you can check out Lorenzo's chat with Julia and see what they think about love and yeah, have a look and
Yeah, keep looking here. There's newer services coming. Cambell and I have discussed them before we started recording. I'm doing some stuff with Julia. We'll release it as we come on, but we have decided, or I've decided, or maybe I finally realized all along, love is always what I wanted. Love is what I want to share, whether it's love of health, happiness, community, family, friendship, as mine and Campbell's is growing, for people to see, and mine and other people's as well. And to share this and to build a community, we found, Campbell has as well, it seems, we were chatting before, that really what people want to do is be in a happy, healthy, loving, abundant community. And, we're happy to help that become a reality for us and those that want to share with us.
indeed. So there you go. It looks like we've come to the end.
All
So
right.
all right. Well, thank you for spending some time with us, guys. Like I said, I'll leave the link to that chat from Julia and Lorenzo below. And yeah, watch this space. There may be things happening in this direction in the next few months. So nothing, won't tell you anything now, but you have to keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah, keep your eyes peeled. Newagora.ca. It's the website I update every day with Campbell's new stuff and my new stuff and a whole bunch of other people's lovely stuff. And there'll definitely be links to all the other information and whatever we're doing there. And if not, just leave a comment and one of us will be happy to get back to you.
Awesome. All links below. All right, guys. Well, have a very nice, loving day, and we'll talk to you on the next upload. Bye for now.